This video is sponsored by Lifetime. Can your gas grill smoke a brisket like this? But can your pellet grill sear a steak at 700 degrees Fahrenheit like this? Mine does. It has both a gas grill and a pellet grill over the same cooking surface, and I can use one or the other or even both of them at the same time. I'm going to share with you my secret for getting both the gas and the pellet grill working together that the other YouTubers that have reviewed this grill have missed out on. I'm going to show you that a little bit later in the video, but until then, let's make a brisket.
I like to keep my brisket simple so the beef and smoke flavors can shine through on their own, and I used a simple rub of a heavy dose of salt and a little bit of store-bought rub that has a whole lot of pepper. After sitting in the fridge overnight, I put it on the pellet grill set to high smoke for 30 minutes and then turned it up to 225 degrees Fahrenheit. The only other thing I did was spritz it with water every hour or so to promote smoke adhesion. While we're waiting for the brisket, let me do a quick overview of the grill. It's pretty beefy, and the assembly instructions suggest having 3 people for the job, but it is possible to do it by yourself if you absolutely have to. This grill combines a 4-burner gas grill and a pellet smoker into one unit over a single cooking surface. They do that by having the gas burners on top and the pellet grill fire pot down below. This grill is absolutely huge with an ample upper rack that is big enough to actually put stuff on. They did a few things that showed that they were really thinking, like putting the grease bucket inside so that way it doesn't fall off in the wind. The smoker control panel is nice and bright, and the controls are super easy to use. They also have an app to monitor the cook and change the temperature from anywhere, which is a feature that's usually only found on high-end pellet grills. The grease tray is easily removable for cleaning, and you know I made a mess of it when making this brisket.
Once I wrapped the brisket, it didn't really make sense to run the pellet grill anymore because running pellets is going to cost you more per hour than running at the same temperature on propane. And plus, it's not going to add any flavor either. So what I did is I took this far left burner and I turned it up, and I could use that to regulate the temperature. And I did that because I figured that the heat would come from this side, go up and over the brisket and out the smokestack in the top. That would give me some good convection cooking. It's also indirect, so I make sure that I don't burn the brisket. After a few more hours, the brisket was as tender as I wanted, and I let it rest in the cooler for 2 hours before slicing. I didn't get the dark black crust like I would expect with a wood or a charcoal fire, but the deep mahogany color is about right for pellets. Despite that, it still had a deep smoke ring with a light, sweet, smoky flavor. The gas grill made cleaning up easy, and that is the part of the grill I'm testing next. One of the first things that I like to do with the new grill is to make some toast because it helps me to map out the hotter and cooler areas over the grilling surface. And the Lifetime grill, like most grills, was a little bit cooler in the back and the front than it was in the middle, but it was pretty even. All of the pieces of toast were nicely toasted and none of them were burnt. Now I'm going to take what I learned and put it to use and sear up some amazing ribeyes.
I can maximize the sear by putting the steaks in the center of the grill with the burners going full high, which easily gets it into the 700 degree range. That is more than hot enough to get a good sear, including these crosshatch grill marks that people love. I like mine with a bit of char, and the Lifetime grill delivered. After a quick rest, I ended up with a couple of really good gas grilled steaks. My first cook was some pork chops, and that's where I learned that you want to sear with a little bit more heat, because I was a little nervous that I might overdo it and I didn't want to burn dinner. They came out juicy, and I applied what I learned to those steaks, which goes to show that experience with the grill will bring the best results.
So at this point, we have smoked a brisket using the pellet grill, and it turned out great. We've also seared pork chops as well as a steak on the gas grill side, and that came out absolutely amazing. But what I wanted to see is what happens when you bring the two together and you use both the pellet grill and the gas grill at the same time, or what they say, the fusion fuel. I think the best food for that is a braided pork loin. Let me show you how I make it.
If you can braid hair, you can make a braided pork loin, which brings benefits in presentation and flavor in the final product. I cut 3 strips into the loin while leaving the end attached. That makes it possible to braid, which gives more surface area for the rub and smoke to do their magic. And since this was a big piece of meat, I dry brined it overnight with a half a teaspoon of salt per pound of meat, just like I did with the brisket to really bring out the flavor. Then I put on a barbecue rub on it the last minute before cooking.
So I started the grill off in high smoke mode. That way I could maximize the smoky flavor from the pellets, and I left it there for about 45 minutes. It's just about done. Now I'm going to turn on the gas grill side, bring it up to about 350 degrees so that way we can still get some of that smoke flavor while we get an extra heat from the gas grill. Let's do it. So when I lit the gas grill, I made sure that the outside burners were turned on and the inside burners were turned completely off. That'll keep the pork loin from burning, but there's an additional benefit. If you want the pellet grill and the gas grill to be able to work together so you can get that smoky flavor, you gotta keep it under 400 degrees Fahrenheit. So it turns out that 400-degree thing was only partially true. If you try to start the pellet grill when the grill is already over 400 degrees Fahrenheit, you'll get an error it won't allow you to. Also, you can't set the pellet grill itself to more than 400 degrees, that's its upper limit. If you set the temperature on the pellet grill and then exceed that by using the gas assist, it'll shut the pellet grill off just to try to keep it in the temperature range that you want. And here's the secret, and it is high smoke mode. It doesn't set a temperature on the pellet grill, but instead runs through a program so that way it has a certain amount of smoke and fire filling the cooking chamber. That means that you can adjust the temperature using the gas grill part and raise it well over 400 degrees, but still have that smoky flavor. And that means that my dream of having applewood-fired smoked pizza cooked at a high temperature is finally a reality, and I still get the convenience of gas. Check out the pizza that I made. And you're probably wondering how the braided pork loin turned out. It was absolutely amazing. The color on it was great, the flavor was awesome, and it was super juicy. Even people who don't like pork chops loved that braided pork loin. I was happy to share it with them. My initial concern with this grill is that it was both a pellet grill and a gas grill, and it was possible that it wouldn't do either of the two things very well. But Lifetime did a great job in getting the best of both worlds, and it performs both functions very well. That said, there are a couple of things that I wish I could change about the grill, and both of them can happen after you buy it. Let me show you. And the first one is a big one. There is no thermometer on this lid whatsoever. The only thermometer on the unit is the one built into the pellet grill, but it only works if you plug it into the electricity. So if you wanted to do a weeknight cook on just the gas grill, you'd have to plug it into the wall in order to be able to see what temperatures you're cooking at. They could fix that just by putting a thermometer right here in the lid, and then we'd be able to use them independently and not have the hassle of plugging it in when you don't need it for the pellet grill. And number two, at this price point, I would expect just a little bit nicer grates. Something like stainless steel or cast iron grates would be awesome because they can hold in a lot more heat for a really good sear. They can also stand up to a lot more scrubbing and will last longer than the ones that are on this one. So who is this grill for? It's for somebody who has limited space, budget, or significant other support and is limited to just one grill, but they really enjoy the convenience of gas and they long for the smoky flavor of ribs and brisket on the weekends. This would work out well because it allows them to have both in one single unit.